I decided that my hero, Lysander Rief, would be psychoanalyzed. And for a while I thought, well, I could do a lot of research into Freudianism and what was going on at the time. But I thought, why not, much more interesting for me to invent a side, an adjunct of Freudianism. And so I came up with my own therapy, which I decided to call parallelism. And it's actually surprisingly plausible. I took ideas from all sorts of places, largely from an American poet called Wallace Stevens, a famous American poet who had a theory about the world, which seemed to me to apply to human nature and human psychology. Wallace Stevens thought that the world was a dead, grey, gaunt place, and that we gave it colour and made it vivid by the use of our own imaginations. And he drew on the thinking of Henri Bergson, the famous French philosopher. So I cherry-picked all these various notions and came up with this therapy that your trauma, your neurosis is caused by unhappy memories. But your memories are really only fictions that you have created. So it's within your power as a patient or as somebody undergoing therapy to deliberately set about to change the memories of your past and invent new memories for yourself which erase the unhappy ones. It's more complicated than that, but fundamentally that's what it is. Something bad has happened to you in the past that has made you neurotic and is causing all sorts of symptoms. So you revisit that moment with the help of the therapist, and you just change what happened. And you construct a new memory in very precise detail. And the more detail you get of that alternative day or that alternative moment, the more it kind of pushes aside the bad stuff and you replace it with happy, nice, benign memories, and theoretically your neurosis goes away. So, I think there'll be a school of parallelism before I know it, and people will be asking me where they can find a therapist who practices it, because it is extraordinarily plausible, it seems to me.
Do you remember I asked you if you'd heard of parallelism? Bensimon had crossed the room into the very edge of his field of vision, a shadow with his hand extended. Lysander swung his legs off the divan, stood up, and was offered a small book, little more than a pamphlet. He took it, navy blue cover with silver lettering. Our Parallel Lives, an Introduction by Dr. J. Bensimon, M.B. Oxon. I had it privately printed. I'm working on the full-length version, my magnum opus. Taking rather a long time, I'm afraid. Lysander turned the book over in his hands. Can you give me the gist? Well, bit of a challenge. Let's say that the world is in essence neutral, flat, empty, bereft of meaning and significance. It's us, our imaginations, that make it vivid, fill it with colour, feeling, purpose and emotion. Once we understand this, we can shape our world in any way we want. In theory. Sounds very radical. On the contrary, it is very commonsensical, once you get to grips with it. Have a read. See what you think. He looked at Lysander searchingly. I hesitate to say this, and I very rarely make this leap, but I have a feeling parallelism will cure you, Mr. Rief. I really do.